Hey, everybody. Welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. Episode 123, and I think it makes sense that it's 4 or 5. It's the fourth day of May. That's the way that Europeans would write it. So, there. May 4th, May the 4th be with you. So, I wanted to talk about Star Wars and my adventures there within. I am a Star Wars kid. I was 10 when it came out, 9 technically. It came out the summer '77. A couple months later, I was 10 years old. And just what a franchise. If you're like me, if you're around my age, you probably were enamored with the first three, disappointed with the prequels, and maybe 50-50 on episodes 7, 8, and 9. Because I remember watching when I was a kid. I was like, episode 4, and you hope, what does that even mean? What, episode 4? What are 1, 2, and 3? We all had theories. We were little kids, and we were like, what is does Close Encounters of the Third Kind have something to do with it? Does 2001? What are episodes 1, 2, and 3? We had no idea. And then, like I said, it captured our imaginations. It was the first real movie franchise. And I remember getting toys, like my 10th or 11th birthday. It was big old, like, not Millennium Falcon. I got an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter. I got a Han Solo gun. The reason that makes me laugh a little bit is this Han Solo gun sounded like, they tried to make it sound like a laser, but it was 1977. So I was like, sound like a dentist drill. And so a few years later, I somehow hung on to this thing for 5, 6 years, apparently, because we'd do prank phone calls back when you could do that, back when there was no *69, back when it was a rotary phone and you just maybe look up a goofy name in the phone book or just dial a random number. And my friend Chris would take this Han Solo gun and go, he's like, "Hey, it's Dr. Don, the Midnight Dentist. Are you ready to get drilled?" Stupid things like that. He'd get on there and say, "There's a water, have you looked outside? There's a water buffalo humping your car." Stupid things like that. We were idiots. But be that as it may. So I liked the first three. I think they were really good. Like I say, they captured my imagination, especially Empire Strikes Back. It's still one of my top 5 films ever. Typical. George Lucas explained it, and this is the way it should have been. He said, in a trilogy, you have the beginning, and you're introduced to the characters, and big things happen. Obviously, the star, like the Death Star blowing up, and all the things that happen with it. But in the second act, that's when everything gets dark and everything looks hopeless, and so everything bad happened. Some of our hero, Han Solo's been captured, and Darth Vader is Luke's father, and all kinds of terrible things are happening. The Empire looks unbeatable. And it was such a good movie, and it just was amazing and captured my imagination. I think I've said captured my imagination 4 times in this video, so I'm going to stop saying that. But it really did. It got into my psyche. I remember having dreams. When Empire Strikes Back came out, I was like 12, almost 13, because that came out in 1980. I saw that one 4 times in the theater. God bless my dad for taking me. I think 2 or 3 of those times, and waiting for lines that wrapped around the theater. The Cooper cameo, I don't know if you remember that. That's out on Colorado Boulevard near the old Celebrity Sports Center. That's where it was, and we had a lot of fun watching it. And it was a big screen, and so I always tell my kids I feel bad that they don't get to see it on this big screen, because that part where they're in the snow speeders and they're looking for Han and Luke Skywalker right after he spent the night in the Tauntaun's belly, and I'm guessing it's helicopter or airplane footage, but the way they just swooped up and down over those mountains, those snowy mountains in Norway, was really amazing footage. And when you're in that theater, it really felt like, wow, we're about to run into that mountain. You go over it. It was like being in a roller coaster. It was amazing. And I had dreams at night. I remember one specifically where I got into a lightsaber battle with Darth Vader, and he took my head off, like in the movie, like Luke does to his his whatever that was, that his twin, when he goes into the hole on Dagobah. And I had dreams like that when I was a kid. And my best friend, who I've talked about early on in this series, at the time, his name was Mike can't say his name. Almost did that. I cannot say this guy's name. He was the half black skinhead I was talking about. May have to edit that. But this guy, he was, I think I said it back in that video, he was super smart. His mom was in Mensa, and he was like a gifted and talented kid, but very troubled. And he made all kinds of like little tiny and huge replicas of the Millennium Falcon out of paper, and wrote on it with ballpoint pen to They were amazing. They're all over his room, just like some were hanging and flying. A couple were on his shelves. Like he had a dozen of them at least, and like little ones, tiny ones like this. It was incredible. So it really caught my entire generation's imagination. Yeah, there's 5 times. I'm just going to keep saying that because apparently I'm not very original. Then Return of the Jedi came out, very good as well. Maybe didn't get me as much because I was 16 when that came out, and it was good, but I don't think anything can compare to Empire. So may the fourth be with you. Let's bitch about the prequels, shall we? It was so disappointing. You wait 16 years, 1999, the first prequel comes out, and George Lucas even admitted, I let my kids influence my writing, and it's like, I mean, just the names, Newt Gunray, really, Jar Jar Binks, of course. I mean, just some of the names were like you could tell a 6-year-old thought of these, and oh, how cute to incorporate that. No, these movies were dark. They had parts that were hilarious. That they never had like just a stupid, goofy character in the first 3 episodes, in episodes 4, 5, and 6. Jar Jar just tripping over himself and sticking his tongue into anything he could. It really was disappointing. It kind of stomps on the legacy of a couple of really good actors, or actually several good actors. Natalie Portman is an amazing actress. You got Ewan McGregor, and you've got Liam Neeson. I mean, some iconic movies under those people's belts, right? You got The Professional. If you want to name some iconic movies for those 3 actors, you got The Professional for Padme, for Natalie Portman. They got Train Spotting and some others for Moulin Rouge was really good. Ewan McGregor, and of course you got Schindler's List for Liam Neeson. That's just to name just a few. So yeah, it really when you write a movie that badly and you use CGI that much and you just goofify the hell out of it, you really do it's kind of an insult to the actors you got to get on these movies. I'd say the last trilogy was not as disappointing as the first. I think most people, and I think that includes my age, millennials, and even young people like my kids, Generation Z people, I think most of them agree the first one was probably the best. For one thing, you were excited about it. For another thing, it sent those old school Star Wars messages, that this big over encompassing empire is bad, this fascist feeling. I mean, talk about the imagery with it too. I mean, some of it was even over the top, like when General Hux is just screaming and getting all red and getting and very obviously very real, or very how do I want to say, pertinent imagery to the Nazis. I mean, with the stormtroopers, aptly named, and just all the red and black and white and the anger. Just that was a little, to me, it was like, okay, we got it. They're bad. I mean, it was just. I mean, I don't know. I mean a lot too, but that was the best one, I think. I can't remember the title of it, but Episode 7 was the best. Why can't I think of that? Last Jedi, Return of the whatever. Who cares? 9 was disappointing. 8 was slightly better, and that was sad too because you got 7 that's I think was pretty good. Got a black stormtrooper, and they understand that some of these people were kidnapped, that they weren't all clones like we learned in Episode 2. So that was kind of a cool concept. Like, oh, we're not just getting these are not just clones. They are, they are. How do we want to put it? Re-educating people to become part of that force, and that was kind of a cool concept. And that includes black guys, white guys, and probably some, all humanoid apparently. But that was kind of cool. And then they just fell apart the next 2 episodes. I mean, just some of the imagery was so ridiculous. Like in episode 9, when they're attacking a Star Destroyer and horses are running on it. And I'm just like, all right, okay, I guess this is what's happening. And the Sith there's billions of Sith or thousands of Sith in this Palpatine stadium in this shitty planet. But, there's just a lot of holes in the stories. That I don't mind as much as just some of the, I don't know, just a lot of it was just disappointing. What can you say? I like that they did bring back people from the original 3, the first 3 episodes. I like that. I like that they paid homage to Carrie Fisher. That was nice. But overall, I guess when 7 came out and was so good, and 8 got a little worse than 9, was kind of a plots. Disappointing. However, I love the first three. I still watch Empire Strikes Back all the time. I'm up to 10 minutes. May the fourth be with you. Bye.